Good morning, beautiful souls. It's Elizabeth Bratcher bringing you your daily reading for some insight and guidance. Thank you very much for joining me, and thank you very much for those that have subscribed. If you haven't, please subscribe to my channel. I do this reading every day, and I'll chuck a few little bonuses along the way as far as readings go. I'm also on here doing live feeds too, so yeah, please subscribe and help build the community. So how this works is I pull 3 cards out, number 1, number 2, number 3, and all you need to do is take a breath and see which card you're drawn to. See which number pops to your head, number 1, number 2, or number 3. Sometimes people are drawn to more than one number, and that's totally okay. And you'll see sometimes the cards will tell a bit of a story between themselves, even though the readings are separate as well. So yeah, I'm going to pull 3 cards out now. Number 1, number 2, and there we go, number 3. So take a moment, guys, and just focus. Got card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3. Which one are you drawn to? Okay, I'm going to pop number 3, pop number 2. Let's see what number 1. Completions. Okay. And quick little shuffle, see where we need to stop. Checking the fine prints and improvements. Okay, so when I sit with these cards, number 1, all right, endings, completions, things like that. It's like it's a time end out of a cycle. It's showing that there's, it's phases, it's relationships, it's situations, it's all those kind of little bits and pieces. But the energy around these cards today, when I sit with them, I want to say that it's something that you need to bring into head. It's almost like something that you're avoiding moving forward to. And it doesn't need to be complex. It can be something as simple as personal goals and all those kind of little things, which we know aren't simple as when we try to do them. But it's I feel like it's trying to come to you, but you're like resisting. That's the energy I get around this. And so when the card about checking the fine print and analyze and things like that, for me it's about looking at the bigger picture and seeing, it's like weighing up the pros and cons, for example, and seeing that the energy, once you allow it to come in and accept that there's changes and accept that it brings about things that I guess make us a little bit uncomfortable because it puts us out of our normal comfort zone, are worth it in the long run. And so when we talking about you today, and so the card represents, when we see a house, it's your body, it's you. And so it talks about improvements, and even new home and things like that do come about sometimes when we bring an ending to the cycle. So, very much so, but as I said, for me, that energy is about, I feel like I'm resisting it, I feel like it's not because I don't want it, it's just, it's a lot of work, and it's, a little bit of fear and everything else like that comes through. And as I said, it can be complex or simple, because sometimes even taking on the challenge of losing weight, for example, is so daunting. So yeah, don't think it needs to be complex, but just have a look and weigh up the odds, and I think you'll see that in the long run it is worth it. And so today, number 1, the energy is asking you to just reflect on that in your life at the moment. What's trying to push its way out that you're holding on to, that you should be letting go of? Okay, I'll pop that card off to the side. Put these little puppies back in. Let's see what number 2 has to say today. Number 2. Ooh, I think we had this card. Did we have this card yesterday? I think we did. Let's see what else it has to say. Okay, so when I sit with these cards, what I want to say to you is this, that there's, when we talk about opportunities to develop and growth and things like that, I feel like these are things that you're initiating and bringing onto yourself. Isn't that interesting? And I'll tell you why I think that's interesting in a second, because the same thing happened yesterday. But what I feel is like, sometimes when we bring good things to ourselves, changes, it makes other people disrupted. So, I want to use the word disrupted because sometimes it's cranky, sometimes it's just, having to adapt to change, even though they're supportive, all that kind of thing. But it's like you've got to push your way through. It's like you've got to make people uh, around you, understand that it's a good thing. Understand, you know what I mean? It's yeah, like why am I justifying myself to you because I want to make these changes? Because this card here for me always talks about, it's like that external energy, around you where you've got to really stand strong in your own energy, stand strong in your own convictions, all of that kind of thing. And that's what I want to say to you today with that energy for those of you that have chosen number two, is that as you take on that yep, I'm doing this energy for whatever it is. Don't let other people get in your way of it. Don't let other people's opinions and, who are you to do that kind of energy get in your head. Don't let people get in your head because just, and I know it's a cliche thing to say, but it's very true. When somebody else even has a passive aggressive dig at you about something you're doing or something else like that, that's on them, it's not on you, because if somebody was feeling really content and happy within themselves, they wouldn't feel a need to do that. They just wouldn't, So always just remember it's about them and not you, and keep walking forward. Keep walking forward. Don't drop it. Okay, and the last card, the encouragement. You can do it. I always get that when I say this card. But, very much so. That's what I want to say with you. That's it. Hold your head up high. Keep focused on the bigger picture and understand that sometimes we've got to walk through mud and, a bit of poo-poo to get to where we want to go. But it's all good. It's all good. Doesn't mean we should stop. All right. I laughed and went, that's interesting, because yesterday the three cards in themselves told a story, and I suspect they're going to do the same today. Number 3. Trust. Moving on. Improvements again, see? Alright, so when I'm sitting with these cards, intuition, psychic trust, it's all about trusting your gut. It's all about trusting your instincts, knowing that you've done the homework, knowing that you feel what you're doing, everything's in place. It's like when it comes down to just trusting our intuition, it's like we already have all the information that we have, because our intuition relies on knowledge and wisdom and instinct. And so that's what it comes down to. When it comes to a point where it's calling on this card, you already have the wisdom, you already have the instinct, so now it's time to trust the intuition with what it's telling you, and that's very much so in a nutshell what it is. And see, that's what they're saying. By bringing in that intuition and self-trust that's there, you're going to move forward. And again, this card's about yourself. It brings, those improvements. It's really kind of, driving home today about that. And there's lots of gold represented through the cards, and that's always about, first place, you win a gold medal, and so, yeah, it's interesting, you know what I mean? As I said, for me, I feel like 1, 2, and 3 of the cards are really connected today because of that, yesterday it was like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and very much so this energy is there. It's like just that extra oomph, of really just, trusting yourself and knowing that sometimes those basic instincts and those desires are going to be against the grain, but having the balls to keep moving forward with it, taking flight, moving on. That's about, literally that, taking flight. Like, imagine how nice it feels to step into your own, whatever it is, and, taking forward. So, popping them two off to the side. As I said, there's number 3. There's number 2, and there's number 1. And, as I said, that's, again, they tell me a story. There's a completion and ending, and as I said, I feel resistance around it. I feel like, you're a little bit afraid to take it. But by doing so, as I said, the opportunity to develop comes in. You've just got to trust yourself. And as I said, with all that energy that I spoke about as well. So, again, interesting. I'm sure a few of you chose more than one number, and that's the reason why, because, they want to tell a story together as well. So guys, thank you very much for joining me again today. I'll see you tomorrow. Again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. It is lovely that you guys are joining me every day, and look forward to chatting again tomorrow. Stay well.